and then we'll take some questions.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
First off, I'd like to thank Commissioner Duple, Mindy Kay, and the rest of the Summit League staff for welcoming us all into their new home, which is certainly pretty spectacular, but also the opportunity for all of us coaches to talk about their excitement for their team, because at this time of the year, everybody's awfully excited. I'll tell you that much, and us included. Well, wow is what I got to say. The last 6 months, what a whirlwind it's been. But I can tell y'all, I've never had as much fun coaching the game of basketball than I have these past 6 months. Whether it's dealing with our administration that's unbelievably supportive, and the communicationness and openness that we have, our pride, the prideful alumni, our fans, they're so supportive of what we're doing in Brookings, and I couldn't be more excited about the opportunity to lead a program that has so much tradition in history as the Jackrabbits do. And to be able to compete in the Summit League with really incredible institutions and some outstanding players and great coaches is something that our team is really looking forward to, that challenge. I can guarantee you that, because we're excited. As far as our players and our team, I can tell you I'm so proud of them in how they've embraced the change and the competitive spirit that we've instilled in them, and are continuing to instill in them the past 6 months that we've been working with them. And, we make a lot of mistakes, but that's how you grow. And their willingness to challenge themselves and make those mistakes, and to be able to see that growth on a daily basis from our young team, as 9 of our 12 scholarship players are freshmen and sophomores. So that's exciting, but it's also, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and to see that growth on a daily basis is pretty special. And we're certainly excited to get this ball rolling. And with that, I'll just open it up to questions to talk about our team.
Coach,
You bet.
Mike Dahm, David Jenkins, Skylar Flanton, Tevin King, all gone from last year. That's a lot right there. That's a lot to replace. There's not a lot of teams that have to replace that much year in, year out. But how's the team adjusting? What have you kind of seen out of them? It's a young team, so I'm guessing, I don't want to say trial by fire, but those non-conference games, it's probably going to be a lot of, hey, this works, this doesn't. Is that kind of how it feels?
I don't really recognize those names you were talking about. or maybe you won't recognize some of the names that we're playing. I'll tell you, we're going to sell more programs this year than we did the last 3 years combined, so people know who's on the court. But, it's a great question, and obviously, there are questions like that about our team. But part of that excitement that is around Jackrabbit basketball is, who is the next Mike Dahm? Who is the next Skylar Flatton? Who is the next Tevin King? And I can tell you this much, there are a lot of new faces in that locker room, but there's also some guys that have been in that locker room that have waited their turn. And they're so ready, and they're so confident, and they're ready for that challenge to make that next step and help shape the future of the next generation of Jackrabbit basketball.
Who's going to score for you this year? Is it going to be someone like Alex Aarons, who had 6 points game for you last year, Trey Buchanan coming in from DMAC, or maybe a Doug Wilson coming in from Kurt Ward? Who's going to be the scorer for you out there?
Yeah, we lost some unbelievable scores. And I kind of look back, and we talk about the history and tradition of South Dakota State basketball. We've had a great run the last 10 years. And it wasn't always done one way, and it wasn't always a team that had some elite scorers like a Mike Dahm or a Nate Walters, those elite players. 5 years ago, Coach Nagy had a team where there was 4 guys, where Cody Larson, Sioux Falls kid, led the team in scoring with just under 14 points a game, and there was 4 guys that averaged between 9 and 14. And if you remember right, that team was very, very successful. And I think you'll notice our team this year be a lot more like that team? Are we going to have that elite score that we've had in the last 3 or 4 years? Probably not. It will be a little bit by committee, but certainly guys like Alex Arians, Trey Buchanan, Matt Dentlinger, guys like that are certainly excited to expand on their game and increase their role with this team. And so it will be a little bit of trial by fire and who's playing well. But that's how I envision our team and how our team can be successful.
Going from the assistant role to the head coaching role, do you look to change the system at all, or do you kind of think that the same system you used last year is where the team should be?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's because TJ was our head coach last year and I was the assistant and now I'm the head coach. I don't necessarily say that that's why we're necessarily changing. I can tell you this much. You will notice some changes in the way we play, and I don't know if it necessarily is because the guy that's sitting in that first seat, or it probably has to do a little bit more with our personnel. You will notice this year's team, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on and accountability on getting some defensive stops and some of them toughness factors and some of those grit plays and a little bit more selflessness. I think those are some characteristics you're going to see on this team that will be really, really important for our success.
And Coach, you mentioned the youth on the team. Who are you looking at to step up as a leader on and off the court?
Yeah, I think it's some of those guys that have been in our program, for 3 or 4 years. Guys like Reed Tellinghusen and Mike Dom and Tevin King set unbelievable examples for our guys that are in our program now and what leadership looks like and what it takes to be successful on the court. So they've been shown a great example by some of those past Jackrabbit greats, and they've already started to show signs of that ability to lead in practice. And whether it's a vocal leadership or whether it's more leadership by example, there's a lot of ways to do that. But when you ask who, I look at guys like Alex Arians, Matt Dentlinger, Alou Dillon, Owen King, some of those guys that have seen some of that leadership in the past, to be able to carry it over to our team here in the future.
Coach, what are some of the philosophies that you've learned from Coach Otzelberger the past 3 seasons that you'll use this season?
Yeah, obviously Coach Otzelberger is a great mentor for me and a great friend, and probably the thing that I've learned the most from TJ was every decision that we make as a program, we ask the question, how does this decision make the experience for the student athlete better? And that's what we continue to do. That's the philosophy of South Dakota State. It's not about who's sitting in the head coach's chair. It's about our student athletes and how can we make that experience for them the best it can possibly be and put them in position to be successful. That's really probably what I've learned from TJ. That really is really in my heart, and that what I feel like that can really make a difference for our kids.
Coach, does David Wingett, does he have to sit out this year, or is he back at semester, or is it full season with the transfer?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress with David. We're still hoping, we're in the process of filing a waiver for David, and we're certainly hopeful, but you never know. David's an unbelievable person with extremely high character, certainly talented, but you hope for the best, and whatever the outcome is, it is. And we'll run with that. But David is going to be a great Jackrabbit. When is that going to be? Time will tell. And
Noah Friedel, is he going to redshirt this year? Is he one of the freshmen that could see time for you?
At this point, everybody's in play. We don't really talk about redshirting at this time. Noah, in particular, came in and what I really appreciate about Noah is he's certainly a freshman and they have ups and downs. But what's becoming more and more consistent with Noah is his approach. And when you approach something really, you have a focused approach and a positive attitude towards something, the outcome is really going to be in your favor. And Noah's approach and positive outlook has continued to become more consistent. So you never count guys like that out. And yeah, that will be determined.
Sounds like his brother.
a lot of guys are in that same boat. A lot of those guys are just as hungry and ready for their opportunities. So that's what's been really, really enjoyable about our practices is that competitive spirit.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.